My role within the collaborative law practice is as a mental health coach. So I work with the parents during the collaborative divorce process. In normal mental health practice, I see adults working with a range of mental health and psychiatric issues. So maybe depression, anxiety, relationship issues. I see individuals and couples. And within the collaborative divorce process, the role of a coach is very specific to helping each parent, and typically I work with the mom, the wife, to do a very focused process of walking through the divorce, keeping their attention on what the effects are on their children. So it's what we call in the field very solution focused. So it's the process has a beginning and a middle and an end, and the goal is really to help people with whatever emotional challenges they're experiencing related to the divorce, to work with those, and then to keep an eye on what's best for the family as a whole, particularly if they have children, as they reorganize their family. It's a time that people are under a lot of stress and duress, so people typically need support or enjoy support as they sort of walk their way through the process. The role of the coach in a collaborative divorce is twofold, really. One of the products of the coaching part of the team is to write a parenting plan for the children. And so that's sort of our work product. When the divorce is finished, there's a document that describes how the placement and custody of the children will happen. So all kinds of detail about the logistics of co-parenting from two different households. A collaborative process is better for the children in two ways, really. I guess the most obvious way is that they get to be seen during the process. They're not left out of it. So the person on the collaborative team who sees the children is called the child specialist, and that person meets with the children and talks to them, lets them know that they're going to be talking to their parents about what they've said and what they'd like their parents to know about how they're experiencing the divorce. And so literally the children's experience gets to be brought to the parents' attention. During a divorce, people are often really self-centered because they're in a lot of pain, and it's easy to overlook the effects that they're having on their kids if they're acting angry or if they're very distressed and grieving and becoming, self-centered. And so to have an opportunity to sit in a room with a child psychologist and hear how your kids are really experiencing you, I think it's just it's a profound experience to sit with people and while they're hearing about how their kids are handling the divorce. So that is like the most obvious benefit to the kids. I think that their voice is part of the process, that their parents get to hear how they're doing, that it's not mysterious or secretive. The child specialist brings them in and says, "Tell me how this is for you," and they talk for an hour, and it's really, I think it's very respectful of the children's needs. And a more subtle benefit, I think, is that, and this is just how I see it. I don't know that all collaborative professionals see it this way, but my view of what every single one of us on the team brings to it is the perspective that nobody is there to advocate for any one family member. We're all there to redefine the family together. And so we all come in with this sort of neutrality that I think is really powerful and is ultimately the best thing for the kids. What I've seen of traditional divorce parenting plans is that it's formulaic and that it's not very detailed. And that's because the attorneys of the parties do that. They consult with their attorney, then they consult with the other attorney, but the two parents never sit down together and go back and forth about, well, that's not going to work, well, that would be best, or whatever. So traditional parenting plans tend to not have much input from the client, in my experience, and may not even really reflect the needs of the family. And plenty of times I've talked to therapy clients who've been through a traditional divorce, and I'll say, well, what does your parenting plan say about Thanksgiving or vacation or grandma visits or something? And they'll be like, well, it's not in there, I don't know. So to me, that's a real limitation of a traditional parenting plan. It's not written by the people who love the children. It's written by attorneys who don't have training in child development or family structure. It's often done on a timeline, and so the attention isn't really to what's important to a parent, which are the qualitative elements of, raising your kids. And in a collaborative divorce, we spend enough time talking through, like, okay, let's, pretend it's summertime and you've got a 3 and a 7 and a 9-year-old who's going to take care of them when you're both at work. And we can really get very specific and very personal.